If you're tired of chunking and thinning your bunker shots, I've got a solution for you. One of the things we want to look for in the bunker is lower body stability. When the lower body gets a little bit too narrow and starts moving around too much, it creates a lot of issues with the bottom of our swing and where it's at, and that leads to chunking and thinning shots. So what we're going to look at here when we get set up in a bunker, first things first, we're going to get a little bit wider. Okay, so if our normal stance width is about shoulder width, we're going to go about twice as wide, and we're also going to feel our knees getting wide. Okay, so what I would describe this as is get to where it's a little bit uncomfortable, not painful, but just wide and a little uncomfortable. Okay, so we're going to get here, knees wide, feet wide, sitting down a little bit. I should feel like my whole foot's really on the ground. Now, one of the biggest keys now that we have a lower body that's stable is we want to feel that the upper body doesn't tip back or forward with our spine angle. So a lot of times what happens if I'm setting up to hit this ball and I go here, if I stay in this position, my club's going to bottom out behind the ball. I'm going to slap the ground. The ball's going to come out high and soft. But what we do is we end up driving our legs towards the target, which leans our upper body back. Now we hit the ground back behind it, and we get what can be called a drop kick, which would result in the club hitting the ground too soon, banging into the ball goes flying into the lip, over the green, and doesn't end up anywhere good. So what I want you to focus on, you're going to draw a line here in the sand, and we're going to get set up, feet wide, knees wide, leaning left, and we're going to feel like when we make this swing, our lower body hardly moves in the backswing and the downswing. It will move on the follow through as we release it, but it's going to stay very, very stable. Now that I felt that, I need to make sure my upper body doesn't tip back. Okay, so you're going to take this line right here, and I want you to try and slap the ground with the bottom of the club near this line. So it's going to look something like this. So we're here, I'm going to go there, here, to there. Okay, now if I can do that, you can see how stable my lower body was. I hit that line in the perfect spot for me. I know that I'm going to get a good result, and I'm going to have that ball coming out high and soft because of the stability of my body. So next time you're in a bunker, draw a line for practice, get set up a little wider, knees wide, lean a little bit into the left, but do not collapse the right side backwards if you're a right-handed player, left side if you're a left-handed player. Do not collapse that backwards, hit the ground too soon, and chunk it or thin it. So in order to get good shots out of the bunker, what we're going to see is lower body stability, upper body staying right on top, and feeling like we swing through this, slapping the club on the ground. So let's take a look at what that's going to look like. We're going to get set up here. I'm leaning a little bit to the left, knees wide. Now what I'm going to feel is my upper body stays right on top. Get a high soft one out of the bunker and make my contact much more consistent. So try that, make your bunker game a little bit better, improve some of those shots that are hurting our scores. So now that we have a more stable lower body, what we need to talk about is the delivery of the golf club, and that really has to do with the backswing. So what I see too often in a bunker shot from players is when we take it back, we get very flat and around. Now what happens is when I'm delivering the club from a very shallow position and inside, two things happen. One, our vertical swing plane, which is VSP, gets very shallow down here, and the club wants to bottom out towards the sand very soon, right? Leading to potentially a drop kick, leading to not so good contact. But one of the bigger issues is I see a lot of players that shank it out of the bunker.
Uh-oh, shanked it.
And what happens is we're taking the hosel, when we get the club too lateral and around us, I'm taking the hosel and I'm delivering it out to the golf ball this direction. Now, when I deliver it that way, I'm exposing the hosel directly to the ball, and a lot of times leading to thin or shanked shots, and I just really can't get a nice downward strike on the ball. So what I want to look at when we get too active with the lower body or leaning back, that does tip the backswing, it tips the plane underneath and more shallow, too shallow. Now what we're going to focus on here is, again, I'm getting set up with my feet wide, but I want you to feel, even though you're squattier, feeling like you're sitting down, I want you to feel that the club head itself works more upwards, okay? So we're gonna feel this club wanna work a little bit more steep and up so that when we deliver this thing down, it's a steeper vertical swing plane, right? So vertical here down to the ball, and now I can deliver the club straight down into the ground and let it release through. The feeling might be that you're going to chunk it. However, if we deliver this the right way, as I'm coming down, my hands and arms will release, my body turns, and that club will not continue to dig straight down. So we're not taking this and chopping at it, but we're feeling like as this club works, it's coming down a little bit steeper on top of this ball. We're slapping the ground and then through to the target. So the sensation might be that of a small fade. It might be the feeling that I'm not going out and scooping, but more so that I'm feeling some nice wrist hinge to get that club working up, release it down into the ball, and then let it release through for a little scoopy feel. It's gonna feel something like this when we do it right. Got a high soft bunker shot here, feet wide, knees wide. And again, I'm getting this club up and steep and letting it release, just slapping the ground. So with that, I'm getting the shaft a little bit more upright in the backswing, letting it release down and through. It's gonna give me some great contact and very consistent results on how I'm delivering the club to the ball, and ultimately making me a lot more consistent out of the bunker, eliminating the drop kicks, eliminating the shanks, and just consistently getting the ball out and onto the green.